I've been in a huge fight with my husband. Like, the biggest fight, the longest fight we've ever been in. My name is Melissa, and this is the Couch Mom Club. Before we get started, I need to reintroduce myself. If you're just tuning in now, my name is Melissa. I am the wife to this guy, and we have 2 amazing kids. Our son is 2, our daughter is 5 months, and we've been married now for 5 years. 5 years, and that's a really big deal. I didn't know that 5 years would get me excited this way, because I didn't realize that it would have been so hard to get here. But 5 years is a big deal. I mean, of course, with all that we've been through, I felt like, were we gonna even make it this far? But here we are, 5 years, thank God we are here, and it is amazing. So I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself.
Well, him's name is Tim. My name is Tim. I'm usually the guy behind the camera on this channel. I'm a fabricator by trade. I don't know if there's much more that you need to know about me, other than that.
Okay, well, we'll get in. So we've decided that we were going to answer a couple of questions for you. They were chosen previously, so we do know what the questions are, but we are going to answer them based on a random selection. I'm just going to have Tim pick the question, and then we'll go from there.
Did you purposely put this one on top so that I could pick it?
No, just pick. You could shuffle it.
I see right through you. I'm taking this one.
You could shuffle it. A few of the questions I want to guess first, or vice versa. We're going to answer the questions at the same time. So I'll guess what he's going to say, and he'll guess what I'm going to say, and then we'll see how right or wrong we are, I guess. So, you want to...
Okay. That's
the one you're going to pick?
Do I read it out loud?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What annoys you most about your partner?
Okay.
Oh dear.
So I'm going to find it here. So I'm going to write down my answer, and I'm going to guess what you said. So my guess, if you had to pick one thing about me that annoyed you, and I hope that you didn't say this, because then I'm going to have to explain it. The touchy-feely stuff.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, what did you say?
I said, assuming that I can read your mind when you want things.
I guess that power didn't kick in yet. You're supposed to be able to read my mind. What the heck? Okay, that's fair. I do that a lot because I think that you should just know, like, we've been together, what, 7 years now. We met, and then we were dating for a little while, and then you proposed, and then we got married. So between the engagement and the wedding was exactly 1 year, because this is actually we're actually celebrating our anniversary, our 5th anniversary, as well as our 6th engagement anniversary, because we got engaged on the same day that we got married 1 year later. So it's the not being able to read my mind. It's like, what, I don't know, I guess we should ask a more seasoned couple, at what year does the mind reading power kick in, because it's really annoying. Like, and I mean, like, it's not even things like you should know how I feel. It's like, if I say, okay, can you get me a basket from downstairs, he'll be like, what basket? And then I just won't answer, because it's like, there's only one basket. So like, why are you asking me what basket? Just go downstairs and you'll see the basket and bring it to me.
Now in my defense, I don't want to have to go downstairs and look around for the basket.
But I would say, go downstairs, turn the corner, in the laundry room, you're gonna see I would be more specific. If I'm just saying go downstairs and get the basket, it's likely because you're gonna see it. Like, it's gonna be right there. Like, it's not even that hard. Anyways, what is your guess for me?
Oh, okay.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
Procrastination.
No.
No?
No, it's not. It's the mansplaining for me.
Oh.
It's the mansplaining. Like, as if I don't know.
Because, like, I explain things, right? No, kidding. Go ahead.
It's also the dumb jokes. tell everybody.
You can't pick two.
You just made me, like, you forced me to pick two
No.
because you just did the thing that annoys me.
But it was a good joke.
It's the mansplaining. Like, every time. It's like, I know what you're talking about. I get it. I don't know why you do that. Like, is it just, it can't be, like, mansplaining is a real word. So it's not just you. But it really annoys me. I think because it makes me feel dumb. Like, I don't know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about.
But it makes me feel smart.
Okay, well, I guess marriage is about compromise, they say. So I guess you can continue mansplaining. Like, you probably won't even stop anyways. So it's the mansplaining for me. Do you want to pick another one?
You go ahead. I picked the first. Not that one.
Okay, let me pick this one. Oh, it's another guessing one. What do you love most about your partner? So you have to guess again and then write your actual answer.
What do you love most about your partner? What does you go by Melissa on this channel?
Answer the question.
What do you love most about your partner?
It's a guess. It can't be like, not that deep.
I want to get it though. I want to win.
There's no prize. There's no prize.
Now you tell me. What do you love most about your partner? I want to say, how I am with the kids.
That I do love that about you. I really do love that, but that's not what I wrote. I wrote, I love that I can't find anything that you're not good at. Like, you could literally do everything. Like, everything. Like, it's almost sickening. It's like, it's a running joke. Like, if something needs to be done or somebody needs something or needs to know how something works or whatever, it's always asked him. He has like this random well of knowledge about the most random things. But it's good because when you need that thing, he's the guy to call. And it's like, if I need something fixed, if I need something done in the house, if I'm thinking I want to get something at the store and I want to know a little bit more about it, he's the guy to call. So if I had to guess what you said about me, it's funny because my guess was that I'm a good mom. So you said about the kids and I said about the kids.
I put the ability to set a goal and follow it through to a T.
You know why that's so funny? I feel like that's so funny. So that's what you love about me? I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's funny because I was just talking to somebody about being afraid to set a particular goal that I have for myself and being afraid to do it because, one, I don't want to fail at it, and two, it seems like such a big undertaking. So I guess when you just said that, it kind of gives me a little bit of confidence to say just go and do it.
No, it's funny though because this week you've been working on Noelle's bedroom and I've been in the basement cleaning up the basement, and I'll feel like I've got like 2 square inches of the basement done, and I come upstairs and the whole room is done.
I just worked that. I think it's that when I want to see the end result, I just like go beast mode and just get it done. When I'm upstairs working, I'm just like working. I think your problem is that you watch Netflix while you're doing stuff. So it's like,
I beg to differ. No, I do watch Netflix.
Yeah, you do. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm here. You realize I'm here in the house while you're doing it? Like, this guy will be washing like 3 plates for 4 hours. And it's like because you're watching a show. And it's like, I'm sitting there like, this guy's not going to fit. And you know what? Is that why when we're cleaning, you always pick the dishes? So you can watch Netflix? Next time I'm doing the dishes. Because I just figured it out. Because we'll always split the house chores. So I'll be like, okay, we gotta clean the kitchen and the living room, for example. I'll be like, which one do you want? Anytime it's living room or anytime it's kitchen or something else, you always choose the kitchen. It's because you want to watch Netflix.
I'm multitasking.
You guys know when he says multitasking, there are multiple tasks at hand, but he's not doing both of them.
So the next question is,
listen, it's only one. Okay, next question.
what advice would you give to a couple expecting their first child.
Okay.
This is not a guessing one.
No, this is not a guessing one.
I would have to say just put your trust in God, and just set a plan for the future, for what you want your kids' future and your family's future to look like, whether it be a house or a car, or even just good morals, good family values that you want to share with your kids as they grow up. That's kind of it.
Makes sense.
Spitball in here.
Yeah.
Hi, dog.
So for me, I would say a lot of people tell you communication is key. Like, you hear that a lot, but it becomes even more required after you have children. I would even go as far as to say you and your spouse need to develop some kind of code language. That's when the whole mind reading stuff comes into play. So you need to like boost on that superpower like real quick. You know, just communicate, overly communicate everything. Next question.
Sure.
All right. Oh, last question.
This is the very last question. How is fatherhood different from motherhood?
And I guess my question is, how is motherhood different from fatherhood?
There's a lot of things different, but I think that the number one thing that's different is men and women tend to process things differently, and therefore they parent differently. It was actually my dad that always told me that women are emotional and men are logical. I think that rings true the most in their parenting style.
I think that's kind of what I would say. It's a difference between your approach to your child, whereas I think you're more logical in that you did something wrong, you need to be adequately disciplined, and I'm like, he did something wrong, let's hug him. Like, let's just hug him, because obviously he did something wrong because he needs more love. Like, let's just put our arms around the child and embrace him. Like, it's crazy because sometimes he'll be disciplining and I'll be like, have you ever thought that maybe he's having a bad day? Like, I get really emotional, and it's like watching him discipline and watching him just interact with our son that way, because Noelle's still like really small, so she does nothing wrong. So just watching him do that, it's like, okay, but maybe we could have done it a different way. Perhaps if we hugged him, it would make everything better. Like, you have this idea of motherhood before you have children, and one of my biggest things that I'm going to be a disciplinary, and my children are going to have respect and manners, and I'm going to be strict but in a loving way, and all of that stuff. And what I found was that I'm more hugs than anything else. If we love him a little bit harder, he'll behave himself.
Your catchphrase in that scenario is, he's just a kid.
Oh gosh, when you say that, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm guilty, guys. I'm guilty. I remember when my mom used to say that about my little brother. Like, my little brother was a baby until he was like 15. He's just a baby. And I'm like, Mom, he's a grown, tough man. Like, what are you talking about? That's just, I think, what I would say would be the differences. Just the approach that you take to parenting. You bring all that you are as a woman, and you bring all that you are as a man. Ultimately, we're doing the same thing. We're raising him to the same, or the both of them now, to the same end, for them to mature, for them to be educated, not necessarily go to school, but just have something in their brain to teach them about common sense, because we all know that that's not common. To teach them respect, so that they live out their purpose and they achieve everything that they were meant to achieve. That is the end for us. But how we get there, we come from two different places, which is why communication is so important. Mm-hmm. But thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you for 5 years.
You're welcome.
Thank you for Teo. Thank you for Noelle.
You're welcome twice.
And thank you for making it possible for me to sit on this couch by giving me those beautiful kids. So at the beginning of the video, I told you that I was in a big fight with my husband, and I wasn't lying. We've been at it for like about a year. And it sounds crazy. Like, who fights for a whole year? It's not that we've been at each other's throats like every single day for the whole year. It's just that we had this issue that we were working through. It started off as a small issue and then it kind of spiraled into other things. Because of this thing, this elephant in the room, so to speak, there were different things that were happening to cause this problem to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You know what? Like, this club is for keeping it real. We always keep it 110%. When we're sitting on this couch, I give it to you the way that I see it. I am raw about it and I just let you know what it is. But as far as marriage is concerned, that's, I think, the beautiful thing about marriage, is that you and your spouse are allowed to have secrets. There's things that are sacred between you and your spouse. And I think that is something that you should always govern to protect. I think that the reason why we were in a lot of the issues that we were in is because I failed to do that. I gave access to our marriage to a lot of people, and that was definitely something that I have done in error. And the reason why I am telling you this is because I believe it will help you in the long run. And of course, this is Couch Mom Club. What does this have to do with your children? What does this have to do with motherhood? I think it has everything to do with raising your kids, everything to do with being the best you that you can be, the best mom, the best woman. When you are in good standing relationship, whether that is with your husband, if that is with your common law partner, if that is with whoever it is that you are raising this child with, when you show your children what good relationship looks like, your children will be ahead in life. It's as simple as that. Kids live what they learn and they learn what they live. So if you are demonstrating what it is to live in good relationship, to create a home environment for them to thrive, for them to grow in, I think that is very, very important. You know, I said at the beginning that we were in this big problem, and I believe that in a lot of ways we're still working through those things. But the truth is that every marriage, every relationship, you're gonna have your bumps in the road, you're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that our two children are living in this perfect, beautiful, like fairy tale of a situation. There are so many days that we get it wrong. We get it wrong in front of them. We get it wrong behind closed doors. There are times when we do need to just take a step back and really assess what it is that we're doing, because we don't have all the answers. We don't come by this stuff naturally. It's not like we woke up and said, hey, let's have kids, we'd be perfect parents. Well, I said that. I know I said that, but I mean, when I had my son, I realized that that was crazy. If you are the perfect parent and you have figured it out, send me a message or something, because the idea I had of motherhood and what I'm doing right now in terms of walking out this journey, some of the stuff is similar. Like, some of the things that I imagine are actually happening, but the whole idea of me being this perfect mom and having this beautiful, perfect relationship for my kids to grow up in, it's more imperfect. And I think that the imperfections is what gives way to perfection. It's a crazy thing. Like, when you are raising your children, especially with someone, and given my background being raised by a single woman, there's some tendencies that I have and some things that I lean towards. I'm going to use a car analogy, and I think my husband will be very, very proud of me, because cars are everything to him, and everything he explains it in automotive terms. I don't even know if that's a real word, but I'm saying it. This is actually a true story, so I'll tell you the story. I was driving my mom's car. The tires were like completely bald, like bald tires. By the way, if you're driving a vehicle with bald tires, stop, get your tires changed. It is dangerous. But anyways, we were driving this vehicle and it was raining, and the slickness of the roads with the baldness of the tire just made for a really bad situation. Long story short, I ended up swerving onto a guardrail and I crashed into it. And the effect of the crash caused the axle to break. It caused the car to just completely get out of alignment. Like, outside, the outside of the car looked completely untouched. But when you started to drive it, it couldn't drive. Like, I tried pulling off and, you know, continuing on my journey home, but I quickly realized that it was very dangerous, and I had to pull off again and wait for somebody to come and get me. After this crash, my mom had to do so many things to fix her vehicle. One of those things was get an alignment and get the car realigned so that it would drive straight. But what we noticed that even after the mechanic did this, it would kind of go off in different directions unless you were intentionally holding the wheel and putting it where you want it to go. It's the same thing with marriage. You're gonna come into a marriage with your different bends, your different curves. So you're gonna have your personality, you're gonna have your upbringing, you're gonna have your habits, everything that makes you you. And those are your natural bends. And if you're not directly intentionally holding the steering wheel of your marriage and expecting it to go in a certain direction, that thing is gonna just lean towards your natural tendencies. Unfortunately for me, my natural tendencies have been this independent woman, this single mother, this person who didn't need a man. Like, that is my natural way of thinking. That is something that I've grown up seeing. That is something that I even appreciate in women that are able to just be this independent woman. And that is my natural bend. And if I am not holding, and you know, with my husband, if we're not intentionally holding the steering wheel of our marriage, for me, I'm gonna err in the way of, I don't need you. Like, me and you are not seeing eye to eye on this thing. We're not in agreement. Nah, don't need a man. And I don't say it to be funny or anything. It's just the natural way to do things. And if I'm not intentional about doing it another way, that's where my mind goes. That's where my habits go. That's where my tendencies go. And I think because of that, it created much more difficulty for us to get over issues in our marriage. Like, anything that happened that, you know, was just a little bit heavier than you left your underwear on the floor and you didn't put it in, you know, like, I'm not talking about like the little nitty gritty stupid stuff. I mean like the heavy stuff. When you get into those heavy arguments, those disagreements, those pack your bags kind of arguments, like, you tend to want to run when you should really be intentionally holding that steering wheel of your marriage and going in the direction that the both of you agreed to go in the first place. The trouble with that is when you have kids. Imagine a car that is just doing its own thing. Like, if you're not holding that wheel of the car, that car is just gonna go in the direction that it feels like it wants to go. And if you leave it for long enough, that thing is gonna go into oncoming traffic or hit the guardrail or whatever it is, and it's gonna crash. Your marriage is this car, and your children become your passengers. So you're literally driving this vehicle haphazardly. You're not holding the wheel. Your kids are in the back seat, and you're just gonna end up crashing. The thing about that is, as kids, they're less likely to survive. They're smaller, they're younger, they're more fragile. I'm not even, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not even talking about an actual car accident. I'm using this as a metaphor. So your marriage is the car, and your kids are in the back seat of this marriage. And you are not being intentional about directing this vehicle to get to a particular destination. You might survive because you're an adult, you've been through a couple things, your skin is a little thicker, you know, you've gotten through a few things in your life, so you've developed a particular strength. But these babies, they're fragile. And I think that is why that bulb kind of clicked off in my head. Like, I have to be more intentional about where this marriage is going. Don't get me wrong, we took vows, and I meant every vow. I stood before God and before friends and family, and I gave my life to this guy you saw sitting beside me. We exchanged vows, and I meant every single one of them. But in the thick of things, when arguments happen, when, you know, you're not getting your own way, or things are just a little bit difficult for you to kind of understand and move past, you question whether or not those vows really meant till death do us part, really meant forever, really, you know what I mean? Like, you just start to think, yeah, I'm hightailing it out of here. Like, this is it. And I'm just being honest with you. I really did not think that we would make it to 5 years, given the circumstances of our relationship. That's as real as it gets. Like, I am very thrilled that I am here. We have just celebrated our 5th year anniversary, and I am so hopeful for what is to come. And I'm so glad that our children are still young while I'm figuring this thing out. You know what I mean? Like this is not like a bulb that went off in my head just because it went off in my head. Like this is counseling. This is people praying for us. This is sessions and sessions of just pouring your heart out. This is crying. This is anger. This is joy. Like this is everything all on the table. I'm excited. Like I'm so excited. We have just started a brand new chapter, and in many ways I feel like this is our first year. Like we're newlyweds. Of course, 5 years is baby food compared to some people. Well, some people have been married for like 40 years, 49 years. I think even my mother and father-in-law will be celebrating 49 years at the end of this year, which is amazing. If God allows us to continue to be here on earth and living this life, we will make it to 49 years and 50 years and 60 years as the Lord wills, because I'm committed. I'm so committed. Like before, I had to like really cry and really repent, and we had moments where I was just like, I'm so sorry. When that bulb finally just clicked in my head, like I need to stop falling towards my habits and stop falling towards what I saw as a kid, and this whole idea of this I don't need a man, independent woman. I just needed to stop and I needed to focus. And it's not like a damsel in distress, this man has to rescue you kind of a thing. It's an order. It's a way of life. It's a way that God intended for it to be. It's not an oppressive thing. I know a lot of people think, okay, well, if I'm submissive to my husband, that means I'm in some kind of bondage or I'm suppressed or in a situation like that. It's not. It's actually more freeing to do life that way, because it allows you as a woman, to be a mom. If you like let go of trying to be this independent woman, and when you say independent woman with children, that means that you have to both be mother and father to your kids. If you let go of all of that and just focus on your role as mom and do what you have to do as a wife and as a woman, trust me, it's more liberating than being attached to this independent woman paradigm. It just doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, I am celebrating 5 years of being married to I call him my Dutch dream. And that's because he is of Dutch descent. And when I was younger, there was an ice cream shop called Dutch Dreams. And it had the best ice cream. I'm thinking about it right now and I'm like, yo, we need to go get some ice cream. But I've always called him my Dutch dream. I am back to just honoring my husband, not only for the sake of my children, but also for me. But we are still celebrating. I mean, the anniversary was this past Saturday, but I'm in celebration mode. I am in the process of fixing up my daughter's room and, kind of remodeling and doing a little bit of redecorating in the house. And I'm so excited. I'm going to post a video about it, of course. So in order to know when I post that video, you have to join the club. You got to join the club and you got to hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you're notified when I post new videos. Of course, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, and I will see you in the next video.
Oh, that one stopped. And so did that one.
Okay. So, it just stopped though, right?
I don't know. This is a zoo.
It's like a little bit of a maze.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a studio.
A little bit.